everybody to Cup of Awesomism podcast. I am Lynne, aka Awesomism Mom. Thank you, Zelina Hall, for the awesome music. And I am here today with someone very special. Muhanna has, I said it right, correct? Okay, he has invented an amazing app. Okay, and this app is to connect people in networking. And I'm going to let him explain it and tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll go from there. So it's all yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So Majlis app is simply a networking platform that helps entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, freelancers, business owners mainly find their required contacts to achieve their next personal or business goal. So let me take you back to the journey of it. How did it start? So that we're more familiar of the purpose of it, where it is now, and where it is going. As you all know, when we all were in high school, we were completely lost. What university to go to, what major to study, what is the next path, etc., and all this and all that. So, and whenever let's say the school wanted to guide us towards what we took to study, or sorry, let me jump a bit. I think I skipped a couple of parts. So when I first graduated from my master's, just like any other student, I was confused and lost. Do I work as an employee or do I start my own business? While exploring both options, I realized and I noticed that whoever got a job is because of the context they knew. And in fact, statistics proved and said that 80% of the people around the world got jobs through networking. And on the opposite side, for people who opened their businesses, they opened their businesses with the help of partners, investors, or even they had a huge target customer base to start with. So in a nutshell, when whatever it is, whatever path you choose to pursue with, you're always going to need contacts, no matter what. It's a resource that's infinite and you will always be in need of. However, when you go to, let's say, society or whatever you want to name it, you'll notice that like society today has provided us a door to seek when it comes to seeking finance, which are in the forms of banks, financial institutes, etc. So let's say I want to open a coffee shop right now. I'm going to go to banks, financial institutes, etc. to get the funds. And whenever I want to seek certain type of information, there are educational institutes. Let's say I want to seek entrepreneurship. I'm going to apply for a university. So there is a door that provides finance and there is a door that provides education. However, when it comes to networking, we're still in the, let's say, in the super old ages. We still have to do it manually, unfortunately. So why is that? So after numerous like research and exploring and brainstorming, I noticed that the reason why we don't have a door to go to get contact is because the human being himself, he is a greedy species. So if let's say I have 100 super valuable contacts that help me through every day in my life, there is no way I want to share them. You know, I think that my value are within these 100 contacts. So keep the key. Yeah, sorry about that. So let me try to break this down and try to create a door that we want to seek to get those contacts we want. And that's where, let's say, the inception started. So after the inception was there, like fortunately, unfortunately, we kickstarted a call center. So all you had to do is just pick up the phone. Hi, I'd like to open a coffee shop. I'd like you to hook me up with a coffee shop owner to give me guidance, whatever it is, to help me execute my coffee shop. However, after 2 weeks, we noticed that call centers are so 70s. Nobody uses call centers anymore. They're so expensive, not efficient, I mean, everything's wrong with it, basically. So that's why 2 weeks later, we noticed that we had to adapt towards the current market trend, which are basically mobile applications, which is the easiest, most efficient way to reach people and to connect people and to basically generate business leads out of it. So that's where the inception started. And then when we started designing the platform, we said, wait, let's just justify our business case study. Let's see if there's a hunger, if there's a demand for it. So this is where the school story comes into play. So I graduated at a known school in Bahrain. It's called Beyond School. So I took the phone, I contacted them, again, networking. I told them that I'd like to help the students, guide them for their majors and university, basically give them a more insight about what to expect post-school graduation. Because nobody ever taught us this, unfortunately, for some reason or another. Even if they did wanted to help us, they brought us someone who would talk for an hour and then goodbye, nothing happens. So what I wanted to do differently was I wanted to build a long-term relationship between the students and between the knowledge givers who are minimum working 2 years in their experienced fields post graduating from universities. So you have doctors, HR, engineers, public relations, lawyers, business development experts, traders, you name it. So fortunately, literally within 2 to 3 days, we were able to gather over 40, we called them the knowledge givers, because of context networking. I contacted my friends contacted my friends. And bear in mind, we had to do all this manually at the time just to justify the networking case that we had at the time. So we were able to gather these 40, 50 knowledge givers and invite them into the school. So the school gave us a hall. The fun thing was, obviously, the platform, it's called Majlis. Majlis is a very simple cultural Arabic word, which is, it means basically the place of sitting, a place of sitting, chill, comfortably, talking about valuable content that will grow both the party or the host and the guest. So that hence the name Majlis. It's very built within our culture. So one thing we did in the hall was that we converted the hall into a Majlis, literally an open place. Anyone can chill and sit anywhere. And we divided each section into the different specialties that we had. Doctors over here, engineers over here, PRs over here. Bear in mind that all this was happening just to justify our case. Is there hunger for this or not? And surprisingly, people like were talking nonstop for 3 hours in a row. And once it was complete, we took feedback from the students, we took feedback from the knowledge givers that we have brought, and we took feedback from the school. So the students loved it so much that they wanted to do it again. The school again loved it so much that they wanted to do it again, because I think they were really needing this, because it was so simple. They forgot about it. And when we took feedback from the knowledge givers, the ones we brought, intentionally, it was hard for us to convince them to get on board, because many people were thinking, okay, if this person is going to come, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? We always tend to think, what's in it? What's in it? What's in it for them? However, what we noticed that the feedback we received, most of them said, Muhanna, this was one of the most valuable times of my life. The moment a person shares his experience, his wisdom with a younger person, he gets a feeling of well-being and fulfillment. And at the end of the day, this feeling that you get is more valuable than anything else. A lot of people pay thousands of dollars just to get that feeling of fulfillment and well-being. And yet you don't know that you can get it by simply helping someone and building a relationship with someone that is in need of that help or guidance or whatever it is. And for us, it was bingo. Knowledge seeker got what he wants, the knowledge giver found what he wants. So this is where the initial platform started. The platform was extremely simple initially, which was launched in 2018 or 19, I believe. It was simply, if you're looking for a graphic designer, you just post, hello, I'm looking for a graphic. It was an open chat system for anywhere, any place around the world. Unfortunately, there was a lot of engagement. Like, let's say out of 1,000 people, 30% of them were engaged. And out of the 30% of them who were engaged, 90% of them did actually get benefit and generate either personal or business leads from that. So it's so simple. It's so simple to the fact that you overlook at it. And that's where our engagement increased, our traction, our momentum increased. And unfortunately, we were then talked to with a local accelerator incubator called Path 6 Labs. And that's why when they invested in us. And now our aim is basically to execute the business model and hopefully make it bigger. And at the end of the day, literally, I mean, every person that, like we received literally hundreds of super positive comments over the last 1 year. People got jobs through it, people got business leads, and a very nice story. One time, someone contacted me, told me that, Muhanna, can I have your bank account number? I told him, sure. So I sent it to him. And then I think he sent me $150 or something. And then I was like, what's this for? He said, man, I just got a big deal through your platform and I think you deserve this part of it. So you can see that people are already super engaged in it. And it's so simple, so effective. But yeah, I mean, and we're growing every day.
I absolutely love it. I mean, my husband and I are on it and we love it. I mean, it's very engaging. And, you know, since I'm a full-time autism activist, I'm sure people to a certain extent are wondering, well, how's this tied to autism? Well, first off, I'm a professional networker. I love to network. I mean, seriously, that's what I do. But I see that this also growing and helping autism families from this perspective. So many autism families want to own their own businesses because it helps them set up the future for their child. And also, there's a certain amount of autistic adults that still live at home with their parents. And so it's hard for their parents to go out and get jobs. Well, if you work from home and let's just say you build websites, okay, like my son does, my autistic son does, how does he go out there and let other people know that he can build their website without spending a lot of money advertising? Well, this app is great. He can get on there and he can say, I'm a full-time web designer, I'm autistic, and I want to help you. And other people can come to him from all over the world and connect with him. And I see this future, this being the future. I do. I love your app so much. I mean, when I got on there, I was super excited about it. And I engage a lot. If you notice, I engage a lot on there because I just see this as such an amazing app for everyone. But from my perspective in the autism world, I even see this being able to connect this type of app, connecting autism families all over the world, saying,
100%.
you know, how I need help with this, or how did you deal with this? Because, you know, if you go on Twitter, everybody else jumps in and gives their opinion or is fake and phony and gives nonsense. You go into this, your app, and we can really, really network. Yes, it's, I mean, anybody that isn't.
I think the positive thing about this is that each platform has its own target specific audience with specific attributes. And each platform has like specific characteristics of who's the ideal customer, ideal user of this. Because the Majlis was able to attract, let's say, the ambitious, the entrepreneur spirit, the open-minded. It was. This is why I think people were super easily to reach. People were super easily to connect with, and you instantly talk to people as if they know you and interact with you as fast as possible. Like unlike other platforms, sometimes being big is not too good because you have a lot of spam, you have a lot of fake users, you have a lot of fake people. And I think they peaked not only getting their target audience, but everyone else, you know?
Right.
However, in something small growing, you have the early birds, super ambitious, super engaged people on board. So that's why you're able to get these, amazing people interact with.
Well, it's such a great idea. I mean, it's one of those that has so much common sense to it that you wonder why it hasn't been done before.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
Because, you know, one of the things that anybody that knows me knows I love the Arab world, and I've spent a lot of time over there. And I need to say this very quickly because I didn't say this to my listeners, but Muhanna is in Bahrain. In Bahrain, if you have not been to Bahrain, you need to go. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is just so beautiful. You get up in the morning and you say to yourself, am I really here? You pinch yourself going, this is real. This is real. I love you, and the UAE are my two favorite places in the world. I can't say enough good about them. But I mean,
thank you very much. Very kind words.
but I think one of the things that I love so much about this app is if I'm looking for, let's just say, somebody to translate something that I'm doing within the autism world, because there's autism all over the world. Every country, every world, the whole nation has autism. And if I'm looking to translate something so that, let's just say I can put it, I can go on this app and say, I need a translator, and boom, there's somebody there. And I can work from my home. And this is the future, is working from your home. And that's why, again, I tie that back to the autism community. So many families want to work from home because it's easier for them. And, you know, for my child, it's easier for him because he doesn't have the stress and the risk of a meltdown. He can work from home, and your app is going to allow him to be able to literally put to the entire world what he can do. That's
True.
magical. When
Very true.
when you talked about it, how we met, for my listeners, how we met was we were in the same clubhouse room. And
Correct.
so I looked it up and I'm like, oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. You know, people tell me, I get teased by my family and other people. Oh, you're such a chatty Cathy. You talk to everybody. And it irritates me when people say that because I know I am. I'm the first to admit. I mean, they act like I don't know that I talk to everybody. I know I talk to
I
everybody.
think if I was you, I would answer, how many opportunities were you able to get just by simply talking to people?
Exactly. This is exactly right.
The formula is very simple. 1 + 1 is 2. The more connections you have, the more opportunities you have, and the more likely you are to succeed, period.
Exactly. And that's why I talk to everybody because, you know, I've been in places where I'm chatting with somebody and we find so much commonality. And the next thing you know, we're working on something together or we're helping each
Very
other.
true.
And that's why I loved, you know, meeting you and getting on this app. And I'm like, I want you on my podcast because I want the world to know your app. My goal is simply this. I want to try to get as many Americans and especially autism families that are entrepreneurs and are
Correct.
looking and small business owners to get on your app because
Yes.
you know what else?
I'd be
This is
honored.
going to build
Yeah.
bridges of
100%.
understanding.
100%. Not only that, but obviously, whilst designing the platform, we've considered all types of scenarios. One also interesting scenario that came into our mind whilst brainstorming the customer scenario, like how will the customer use this platform, is that, let's say, like in this case, and let's say autism, it was used in a different case, but we can apply it to this. Let's say an autism kid was in a public library or something, and then he needed basically some help. The moment he put a post on Instagram, you're going to see how many people were able to interact with him and get involved and help him in whatever it is he needed at that moment, at that location, at that specific time. So you can think of it as even an emergency help button that you can be applied. Like another concept was, a lot of people in Saudi, they have these long road trips in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And a lot of times their tires get blown up or something, and they can't drive because obviously of the tires, you know. So usually what the normal practice would be is I pick up the phone, hello, I need help, it gets tired, please come pick me up. And then the other person is going to say, yeah, sure, I'm going to need 2 hours to get to you. If you had a Majlis app, all you need to do is just say, guys, I'm here, whoever can help, please get back to me. And anyone who is closer than that, he would be able to go there and call him. So it's kind of a help call announcement for anything else. And that's also another opportunity that can be used. So it's not necessarily only for, let's say, it's a design for entrepreneurs. However, it can be applied into any other
Oh,
segment and sector.
absolutely. I see. That's why I said to you, I'm so excited about this app because I see so much. I mean, the opportunities are unbelievable. You know, when I got on it, and the other thing I have to say, and this may be silly, but it's true. I love the design of the app on my phone. It's so easy to find. You know, so many of them look alike, and I'm scrolling and scrolling and trying to
Amazing.
find them. This
Do you know
sticks
what
right
the
out.
shape is about? Do you know
No, what is it?
what motivated? So just for the audience to see, so this is the logo.
Yep.
It's basically a coffee cup that's introduced in a majlis.
But do the people have to go when they want to stop? You know how in your culture when you're shaking.
Do you know what's the story behind the shaking?
Yes, but please tell it so
Yeah,
my
sure.
listeners know.
Yeah, so basically, in the normal majlis, whoever has coffee, the moment you give them the cup back, they pour you another cup of coffee until you shake it.
Yes.
And a lot of people questioned, why shake it? Like, where's the inception of that? What's the logic of that? Do you know what the logic of that is? I'm asking you, Lynn. Do you know what the story? I doubt that you know it. Do you know it?
I don't know the logic of it. No.
Yeah. So In the past generations, obviously the Arabs were in the desert. There's nothing, only milk, sheep, no cows, only sheep and camels. So the elderly chiefs of the tribe, they used to have the Majlis, the important sitting to talk about the future, what's going to happen. You can call it a mini parliament for the tribe,
Right.
and basically, they talked about highly confidential things in that majlis. And at the same time, they had a lot of coffee to drink. So it was super logical to them to employ deaf people to pour those coffee.
Oh.
Why deaf people? Because they do not want them to hear and then go talk about it and then to backfires and then etc.
Oh.
So the logic is the person who's pouring the coffee, he's deaf, he couldn't hear. So that's why they had to shake it to tell him, I'm done with the coffee. And slowly, 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 with time, people tended to do it without even noticing why. So that's the original logic of it.
Oh, see, I'll tell you a quick funny story. One time when I was in Saudi, we didn't know that, to shake. Okay. This was our first trip to Saudi. And we didn't know it. And so we would go to hand them our cup and they kept pouring us, and we, we were like, la, 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 no, no, no. And they just kept pouring us. And finally, one of them that was in the, Saudi said to us, you have to shake it. So we shook it.
Yeah.
And then he said, if you don't want any more, you have to shake it. So I knew that. So from then on, any American that I would take over to the GCC, I'd say, make sure if you don't want any more, you shake it. And a couple of them didn't listen to me. And they'd look at me like, I don't want any more. And I was like, I told you to shake it. Yeah. No. Oh,
Yeah.
that is really interesting. And it makes so much sense because you wouldn't want them to go tell.
100%.
Oh, that is so
100%,
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean it's very smart. I mean, at people at the time. I mean, just because you're deaf, it doesn't mean you couldn't work. So they try to utilize these people in a smart way. Rather than employing someone and then he's gonna talk about it and then you're gonna have to punish him and ignore all that mess. It's a very smart and efficient management.
I'm telling you, I love the Arab world so much. The GCC is my favorite place. People will say like on Twitter, if you could go anywhere right now, where would you go? I always write Dubai because it's my happy place. My friends used to tease me because I used to go to Dubai so much that my friends used to tease me that I flew to Dubai like most Americans fly to New York. I mean, I was always on a plane flying over there. And, this is the truth. When I would go to Dubai, I'd be skipping on the plane. I'd be so excited because I'm leaving to go to Dubai. I'd be skipping off the plane when I get there, marhaba. As soon as I got there, I was so happy, and then when I'd have to come home, I'd I just walk to the plane, I get off the plane, because there's just something so magical. And
100%.
I think too, being on the app and seeing people from all over the world on your app in a professional, positive, building each other up way is so uplifting. I've seen the most amazing things on that app. People get in and say, like, there's a guy on there right now who's looking for sponsorship for his race team. Okay. And there's other people who are on there.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, this is amazing. And there's other people on there looking for,
one of the ones that 100%. One of the searches that really interested me, I think it was a woman who just recently opened a salon, and she was looking for 3 mystery shoppers to come and test her place, and she would pay them. I mean, that was a very interesting insight.
Awesome.
It is.
See,
yeah.
this is what I'm saying. This app, that's why I wanted you on here so bad, because I wanted to talk about your app. Like I told you, my goal, honestly, is to get as many autism families that
100%.
have a small business or are entrepreneurial to get on your app and connect with people, because I just think the networking opportunities are so amazing. I told
sure.
my oldest son, because he's a entrepreneur, I told him, you got to go on there. You got to go on there, and you got to just, get your stuff on there. My husband's on there. He's on there because he's AWS certified, Amazon Web
Yeah, yeah,
Services. He's
yeah,
AWS certified. So he's on
yeah,
there. And it's so funny because I came running in, he was in his office, and I had gotten off that Clubhouse call with you, that
yeah,
you were on in the
yeah.
room. And I looked it up and I put it on my phone right away. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going through it. I went running in his office. I'm like, you got to get this app. You got to see this app. So he did. He did it right away. It was so funny because I was like, this is me on an app. I mean, that's the way I look at it is your app is me if I were an app. It's
Amazing, amazing.
connecting people
I think
around
you
the
would be
world.
an ideal Majlis ambassador.
Dude,
It is,
I
it
love
is, it
it.
is indeed. And
Yes.
it's super interesting that people like you, I call them Majlis app ambassadors. You guys are so open to connections and networking. And one thing, I mean, all these I call Majlis ambassadors have in common is they're literally willing to help other people and nothing in return. Whilst doing my networking studies, I noticed that the most efficient way for a person to get in contact with anyone he has in mind, let's say through an event, through a ball, through a gathering, the best way to build a relationship with that person is by saying, hi, my name is X, and how can I help you? I heard that you're doing Project Y. How can I help you? Which is exactly what I mean. People like you and whom I call, let's call it, this is a cheat code on how to build the fastest, efficient relationships as
Yes.
fast as possible. And it's super amazing. I mean, it's at the end of the day, nothing excites me more than I'm sure anyone hearing this gets excited if they purchase something new, a product or a service, whatever it is. So imagine like literally living your life. Oh yeah, I just got reminded about an interesting study which I'll talk about later on. So imagine meeting literally people every day or every week or every month. Isn't that more exciting than any
Yes.
product or service you bought? And not only that, a recent study I read, I think it was on Forbes, if I'm not mistaken. They claimed in the study that a normal average 80-year-old person, he gets to meet at around 400 individuals through his lifetime that influence his mentality, his spirituality, and his physical being. 400
Oh,
individuals.
wow.
And all these 400 individuals, they come into your life super randomly. Okay, so what I'm trying to accomplish in Majlis using this study is instead of making it 400 by age 80, why not make it 4,000? And
Right.
instead of making it random 4,000, make it selective 4,000. So does that mean I'm going to live a much more efficient, happier, faster life? And that's what kind of is the behind the scene goals that we're trying to accomplish. Obviously, it's very hard to track how many people are you actually meeting. That's why
Right.
one thing we've done differently compared to other platforms is you'll notice on other platforms, there is a follow and unfollow button.
Mhm.
However, in Majlis, it's add to meet. I'm adding to meet you on my list. And no matter what, I'm always going to have a literally list of people that I wanted to meet. And eventually, I'm going to click with someone and we're going to do something together or we're going to get an opportunity. It's pure math. One plus one, more connections, more opportunities. So that's another thing that I wanted to share as well.
No, I love that. You're right. I mean, it's like I said, if I were an app, Majlis would be me. I mean, it's just, because my kids used to say to me before we'd go, like to us when they were young and we'd go to the grocery store or something, they'd say, Mom, could we try to get out of the grocery store and not stay there forever because you're talking to everyone, you know? And I would say to them, but you never know who comes into your life
Exactly.
that you make a positive change for them or they make a
100%.
positive change for you. You know, you
100%.
know, that's one of the reasons why I really hate wearing a mask. I know we have to do it for, safety and health and everything. But I'm
Correct.
one of those people who, when I'm walking through a store or a restaurant or something, I smile at people because you never know who's having a bad day, and just saying
Correct.
hello and being kind to someone, how different that can make their life. And I
Correct.
think even with this Majlis app, somebody can be sitting there thinking, I can't go on, my business is failing, I feel like I'm a failure. And all of a sudden somebody reaches out and says, hey, I've been down this road before. They get on the Majlis app, they say, I need help doing this. Somebody steps up and says, I'm happy to mentor them for 5 hours. You can
And
change
you'd be
that
surprised
life.
how many people, and you'd be surprised how many people would run to help you for nothing in return. You'd literally be
Yes.
surprised of that. Yeah.
Yes. But what do you can't, you're not just going to walk up to somebody in a grocery store and say, hey, my business is struggling. Is there a way for you to help me? People look at you like, what's
No,
wrong with you? You know what I mean?
exactly.
And I love
Yes.
having
That's a nice way.
mentors because,
100%.
like I Ambassador Zakhem, that's, for those of you in my who are listening don't know, Ambassador Zakhem was the ambassador to Bahrain from the United States under President Ronald Reagan. And Ambassador Zakhem is like a dad to me. I love him like he's my own father. And I'm super close to him. And he's actually who taught me so much about the Arab culture. I learned to speak Arabic because of him. I learned the culture because of him. I learned so many things because of him. And I said to him one time, and I'm gonna probably cry. I said, I owe you so much because you opened so many doors for me in the world. And I said, I want to, give something back. He said, you gave me everything. You gave me your love. I love you like you're my daughter. And
Wow.
you're right. He did this not because he wanted something, but just because he's an amazingly good human being. And I think too that Majlis will open the doors of people who want to help other people, because that in and of
Exactly.
itself is a lot. To help someone else
It's a social,
can make you feel so much
let's say
better.
social cause. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, this app,
Very true.
I
Very true.
love your app. You've got a big fan in me, and I'm happy to, help anybody that I can. I mean,
Of course.
there's a family in Yemen, because I've been to Yemen. Most of my Arab friends say to me, I won't even go to Yemen. Why did you go to Yemen? I loved Yemen. I know it's very poor, and there's, right now
The
it's
people are
fighting
amazing
so
over
bad.
there. Yeah.
Yes, they are. They are the most loving, kind.
Very, very generous. Very.
Yes. And the history in Yemen, oh my
Oh yes.
goodness. Oh, Sana'a. Oh, I couldn't, the souk, I mean, I couldn't soak it up enough. You know what I mean? It just was amazing. And I have a family in Yemen that I've become close to, and they have an autistic child. And I've really helped them. And that means the world to me.
Very true. Very true.
It does, because they can't come here, and I can't go there now, especially with all the fighting between the Houthis and I feel so much better as a human that I can do these things. And that's why I love this Majlis. And like I said, I see a really strong application for everyone, but especially in the autism community. And that's why I was super excited to have you on, because I thought, I want to get this word out there.
No, I'm honored. And again, I mean, if there's anything else that we can help with, we can modify, we're 100%, let's say, and in fact, we're encouraging feedback that you can have. I mean, and we're here for you. Anything at all that we can help with, please, we're just an email or text away.
Can you tell us a little bit, on there's a, it's not called a VIP, but you have another level of the Majlis. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so when we first launched, which was in 2018, 2019, we noticed that many people were seeking, let's say, high caliber, more valuable people to be on board. And we went and we met most of these high caliber people who are popular or influential. You can name them whatever it is. Basically, they are people who are experts or high level business owners that a lot of people want to meet. Even like ambassador level, you name it, like family offices, chairperson people, etc. So when we went and we had a one-on-one with these individuals, they said, like, Muhanna, there's two ways we can get on board this platform. One is we want people to value our time with them if we give it to them. Number two, the other parts of those people said, man, it's very simple. If people want to meet us, let them pay us. So we kind of went through a brainstorming session and how can we get these high caliber, high influential people on board. So thus we introduced a pro level user on board. A pro level is only basically a user who can enable himself to be booked by other users. So let's say like the average Joe, it's very easy for him to get in contact and get others to contact him. However, if it's a more influential and
Right.
more expert person, he has a bigger list for people to meet him, no? Thus, he has the right to ask for money in return. And many of them don't. Even some of them, you'll notice a lot of pro users, they're asking zero. However, they want people to respect their time. And this is kind of a way to people recognize their professionalism and recognize, because at the end of the day, we as humans, we tend to value something when we pay for it. Like a
Right.
$1 Coke is different than a $10 Coke, you know? And this is
Yes.
exactly where this concept comes from. So at the same time, the user is 100% able to get paid whatever it is he's asking for. So let's say, Muhanna, I'm expert at building applications and I'd like to charge $20 an hour. So I just put $20 in an hour, and that person, he can book me, and the amount will be directly transferred into my account 100%. So we're just the facilitator in between. We might monetize later on in the future, but at the moment, the pro user is simply a feature or a way to attract and onboard these high caliber, highly influential, highly specialized people on board. And fortunately, it worked. So yeah, I mean, that's the whole concept of the pro user, let's call it.
Oh, okay. I love that. You're right, though. I mean, like my
Correct.
son-in-law is an attorney. He's a patent trademark attorney. And he's actually an international. That's why my daughter lives in Germany. And
Wow.
yeah, and anytime anybody, my daughter always makes a joke that anytime anybody finds out that he's an attorney, hey, I have one legal question for you,
Exactly. Yes.
And it's true. I mean, it's like when you meet a doctor, and then you say, can I just ask you something real quick? My back, I mean, but you're right. I mean, and it's true, and the other side of the coin to that is, when you really, like, I was in politics in America for 25 plus years. Okay.
Wow.
So I have I'm old. I'm 60 years old. So I'm old. So I use the old term Rolodex.
No, still, you have a lot of life left.
So when I was, I use the term Rolodex, but when I was in politics, I made a lot of high end, connections. Okay. And people will come to me all the time and say, can you connect me with so-and-so? Can you connect me with so-and-so? And a lot of times I say, sure, it doesn't matter. But at times I get frustrated because my attitude is I have to nurture those relationships to keep those relationships going.
Correct.
I mean, like I have jokingly, have serious say, the amount of Ramadan Mubarak I sent out and, Merry Christmas and Happy Easter and, Happy Hanukkah, greetings I send around the world literally every single year.
Wow, that's
to
very
keep
impressive of you.
Shukran. And to everywhere that I send, I nurture these relationships. I say happy birthday. I say, I do this. So sometimes it's not that I'm greedy, but it's like, look, I work a lot to keep these relationships going.
Correct.
I mean, I had somebody say to me one time, what do you do other than sit on your iPad? And I found that so offensive because I thought, I'm networking. I'm always networking.
Amazing.
And so I think sometimes if somebody needs help,
and at the end of the day, it has the best return on investment.
Yes.
Anything you can do. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think I think too that, something like your app, I have some people that I'd love to get involved in it who are on that expert level, who I think
Wow,
could really, really make a difference. And
great,
isn't
great.
that what this is all about, is making a difference in the
100%.
world?
It is, it is. It's as simple as that, correct. Yeah. It's
And
all
that's,
about making it a better place.
yes. And honestly, I'm not just saying this to you because it's your app, but I see Majlis being a very strong advocate for that.
Thank you
I
very
love
much. Really
it.
appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, one of the ways that, or let's say our mission and vision is trying to convert the average Joe into an influencer. So let's say today,
Yes.
like myself, I'm an average Joe. Let's say I'm looking for a photographer. Because I don't have a lot of followers on all the social media channels, I'm not going to get a lot of replies because I'm nobody. I'm just the average Joe. However, when it comes to a celebrity or an influencer or whoever you want to call that person, the moment he's looking for a photographer, thousands of people run to him
Yes.
to reply to him. So my mission in the Majlis app, it's more of a social cause than just entrepreneurship and business, is to convert this average Joe into an influencer when it comes to searching for people. I want everybody to have the opportunity to reach whoever they want at an instant of a second. And I think with technology, with the internet, it's extremely possible. It's all about the application and how will people grasp it and apply it and execute it.
I completely agree. I heard one of the best things I heard in any of the clubhouse rooms that I've been in was a guy the other night said, I really wish we would stop chasing people who have 1 million followers and think that they're the bigger influencers. He said, because, he said most of those people just want attention or want to get
Yeah,
attention. I don't just mean the influencer, I mean people chasing them because, like you said,
yeah,
you see all these people, I want, and they're trying to get
100%,
attention.
100%.
And
Yeah,
he said, what you need to do is, he goes, there may be somebody that you're following on Instagram who has 2,000 followers, but out of those 2,000 followers, 1,900 people engage with them. And he goes, that's really where it's at, is the
100%,
engagement. And that
100%,
is
100%.
what I love about Majlis, is it's not about, oh, Lynne, look at the amount of views you got on this. It's, oh, Lynne, look how many people you've helped.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And it's nothing more fulfilling than helping someone who's in need of it. There's nothing more fulfilling than that.
Let me tell you a really quick story. I came across several years ago an autistic adult who is blind in one eye and deaf in one ear. And his family was very poor. Okay. And they were going through a really rough time and they needed an attorney. And through my son-in-law, we networked them to a really good attorney, and we helped them out and they won their court case.
Amazing.
Well, almost a year ago now, they were living in a mobile home and a horrendous storm came through. And I actually happened to be on the phone with him because it was Easter. And the tree on the property fell and split their home in half. And they were basically
Wow,
homeless. And
wow.
I I thought, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. So I was talking to a friend of mine who is a very giving person. And she said, let's hold an online Facebook auction. And we just threw it out there through our social media. And we raised them $3,200 in 3 hours, just selling trinket things. Okay.
Wow.
And I got another $200 from some of my neighbors. And I got $1,500 from um, a friend of ours. And we got $10,000 through
Amazing.
a church. And we worked with a mobile home company, and they really worked with us. And anyway, long story short, they are now the owners of a brand new mobile home
Wow.
safe. And
Wow.
here's the part of the story that's the most touching. The mother died suddenly. So the son is now living with his brother. And had we not been able to purchase them this mobile home, which is beautiful, I mean, it's a really nice
Yeah.
one, it's completely decked out. Had we not been able to purchase them this mobile home, who knows where he would be.
True.
And what
Very
I
true.
love about this, and this is where I see the application of Majlis going, is we just pulled everybody together that we could quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I see Majlis growing networks for people so that we don't, instead of just raising, 15, 20,000, 300,000, and 5 homeless families are suddenly in
True.
brand new homes,
True.
because so many people want to help each other. They just don't know where to go to be able to find somebody.
Exactly. It's all about connecting the person who's in search of that person and the person who can provide that and who's willing to help. So it's simple, connecting those two.
Yes, it is. And
100%.
that's what I'm always trying to do with my Awesomism mom and my podcast is, like my son has an Etsy store and it's called Team Awesomism, and he hand makes all of his own items and he
Wow.
sells them, and the proceeds go to help other autistic adults. And, you go out there every day and there's so many people that want to help each other or connect with each other or network with each
Exactly.
other. They just don't know how. And that's why I took to Majlis so quickly. And I wanted to have you on so that we could get this out there. And if anybody's listening to this podcast, please download the app, go on there and do it right, because this is an opportunity to really make a game changer in the world of helping each other.
It is. Correct.
By mentoring somebody, by helping somebody better in their business, by, helping people find jobs.
Correct.
There's so much to this, and the sky's the limit.
Correct. It is. It really is the limit.
And I appreciate you so much coming on today and giving me your time.
Anytime. It's truly an honor and a pleasure. And thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity. It's really amazing.
Yeah. And if I can do anything to help you, please let me know, because I love your hair.
Definitely. We'll definitely be in touch.
Well, you take care. And I know it's the end of your day. It's the beginning of our day. And just to let you know before we go, I'm very jealous where you are, because I wish I was in Bahrain.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully very soon.
Yes.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Perfect.
You take care, and shukran.
You too.
Shukran.
Shukran. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you soon. See you.
Bye-bye.